We will work hard to set a positive example for the future generations of Canadians. We will not lower ourselves to their level. What happened here in February, the veterans here felt the jackboots of the police.
They influence through fear. That is what they do.
It's you tomorrow. It's me the next day.
They're going to smear us. They have already started. What the federal government doesn't know, they poke the bear.
Yeah.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing? Thank you for joining me. My name's Andrew MacGillivray. I go by Drew, and I'm the current president of Veterans for Freedom. I know I'm somewhat well known within the community, but not fully. Mainly because I do a fair bit of work behind the scenes, and this is like my first attempt at doing a podcast for V4F TV, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So just a little bit about me. So I was a 12-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces. I was a naval warfare officer, and I was stationed out on the west coast of BC. And my specialty was boarding operations. I went from being a naval boarding party officer, did some time on ships, and then I went over and did something called the Maritime Tactical Operations Group Selections. That's a boarding specialist unit. Got to work with a couple guys from the Hill and learned a fair bit over there. And then I sort of finished my career in recruiting. So I did, I think, 2.5 or 3 years in the recruiting center in Toronto as a military career counselor. And then I pulled the plug with all the woke nonsense and all the communist struggle sessions and a little bit with the vaccine mandate and that sort of thing, which I wasn't on board for. So that's a quick or a brief history on myself and my career. I also was one of the veterans supporting the truckers in Ottawa back in the winter of 2022. And from there, we started, myself and a handful of other guys started the organization called Veterans for Freedom. It's a not-for-profit organization, and we're a veteran support network and like a human rights activist group. So we've been around for just under 2 years now. We've done a fair bit of work, and we're continuing to grow and continue to expand our operations. So this is my first time running StreamYard. So if there's any sort of hiccups or hurdles or anything like that, I apologize ahead of time. It is what it is. And as I get, as every week goes by, I'll get better and better with the layout and videos and that sort of thing. So just want to thank everyone for showing up here, and please provide me any sort of constructive feedback. You have my email on the ticker there. So look forward to hearing from you. Or if you're a friend of mine or V4F member, you should hit me up on Signal or Telegram and just let me know how things go. So this show is one of about 10 or 12 shows that we're going to be having or hosting on V4F TV. And so what this show will consist of, it's hopefully going to go for 30 minutes to an hour every Sunday at 1300. And we're going to give updates about V4F. To the members, because we do have emails that go out, but some of them are too long and not a lot of guys and gals read them. So we're going to do a little bit more of a video update. Also on the show, we're going to have lessons that I've learned and others have learned within our military service that might be applicable to people today. We're going to have a book of the week. We're going to have movie of the week. We're going to highlight some Twitter users or X users every week. And then we're going to highlight what I like to call the Bolshevik veteran of the week. So what a Bolshevik veteran is a vet who's a complete left-wing woke lunatic who runs their mouths either against us or against citizens, in Canadian citizens that and they sort of use their veteran status card to hammer down on these people in a negative way. So we're going to expose them, one of those nut jobs every single week. And those bullshit veterans, like a lot of their lives revolve around attacking our organization, which is pretty funny. And then when we say, okay, well, you come on our show, any one of our shows, you can pick the rank, the trade, the person, whoever, and just have a discussion. And none of them have stepped forward, right? A lot of them are anonymous accounts, but they're just a bunch of spineless, feckless cowards who can't defend their stances, which is pretty funny. And then I remember challenging one guy, and he was like, I don't want to give you any exposure. I don't want to give you guys more exposure than you already have. It's like, listen, buds, you got 21,000 tweets and like 250 followers. Okay, so you're not giving us exposure. We're giving you exposure. So, anyways, we'll talk more about the bullshit veterans next week. All right. So for those who don't know what Veterans for Freedom is, we are a group that was formed after the convoy, and we're a fairly large group of peaceful, patriotic veterans who are pushing back against a couple things. So one, we're pushing back against the cultural Marxist takeover of our country and our institutions, which is pretty much the woke nonsense, the identity politics and all that sort of thing. And we're also pushing back against gross government overreach, which was at full display during the scamdemic. And another thing we're doing at our organization is we are supporting the couple hundred members of the Canadian Armed Forces who were kicked out over the COVID vaccine mandate. So we have fundraisers. I got one of the sweaters on there that we're raising some money for that lawsuit to try and get them some justice for the way they were treated and what happened to them. And internally, we're a fairly big sort of veteran support network for the awake veterans or who are aware of what's going on. Does our organization represent all veterans? No. We get accused of that all the time. They're like, oh yeah, you guys said you speak for all veterans. And no, we don't. We never said, and I asked for proof. Say, hey, send me proof where we have said that we speak for all veterans, and they can't do it. So, we've had some highs and lows within the organization. We've made mistakes. We're not perfect. We never claimed to be perfect, but we're going to continue fighting and pushing back as best we can, because if we don't, then it's just going to be a walk in the park for these neo-cultural Marxists to take over and destroy our country, which they're already doing, which is really unfortunate. So the goal of our organization, and I'm not saying veterans we don't have the answers to everything, right? We don't have an answer to all the problems in the world, but we would like to work with people to come up with solutions of how to push back. So the big thing for us and for V4F TV moving forward is E&E. Okay, so what E&E stands for is to educate and empower people. So you want to educate them as to what's happening, and then empower our members, empower our supporters, empower fellow Canadian citizens to push back against the nonsense and everything that's happening. So that's what V4F is in a nutshell. One of the initiatives we're starting this month is what we call V4F TV. So you've seen Jeff Ely for the past year and a bit doing his morning show from 10 to 12. That show is now changing. The name of that show is Radical Candor, and that's going to be independent show, but streaming on V4F TV. So one of the issues we're having is that we have a lot of our members who are opinionated, and they give points of view on one thing, or they give their opinions on one thing, and then it's not necessarily representative of the organization, which is fine. Our organization believes in freedom of speech and freedom of expression. But what we're going to do is we're going to have it so that all these different members can have their individual shows and their individual viewpoints. And then you, as the watchers of the show, can interact with them independently and have debate and go on their shows and have discussions with them. So I think there's over 10 creators on board so far. What we're going to do is we're going to organize, monthly roundtables. We are going to have mini documentaries as well. We were already working on one, which should come out hopefully in the next couple months, which is the bogus narrative about right-wing extremism, the CAF, and the complete juggernaut that's behind that, and Barbara Perry and Freeland and all the people involved with that. So that we are working on in partnership with our friend at Wiretap Media, is to do some of the video editing. So we hope to get that out and done well. We're going to have interviews of people. We have going to be interviews in Cosmin Jerja and Jeremy McKenzie, who's the ultimate right-wing extremism boogeyman for them. And then the V4F TV will just evolve, right? So we'll add new content creators. Guys might leave or stop doing their shows and that sort of thing. But basically, it's for awake Canadian Armed Forces veterans who have something they want to share and something they want to speak about. So I'm going to highlight here. Sorry, this is the first time I'm doing this, so hopefully this works. But I'm going to highlight who some of the people who are on board for Vets for Freedom TV is. All right, so just going here. All right, so so here what we have here. So one of our first guys here, so let me get this into full screen mode, is John, who runs the Krusty Canuck podcast. So I think he podcasts about once or twice a week. Great guy. I listened to all of his podcasts when I sort of found out about him a couple months ago. So we have him on board, and he's going to be streaming to his platforms. He's going to be streaming to our platforms as well. Great guy, and we're super excited to have him on board. Next, we got our good friend Mark Mankey, who does the Trauma Recovery podcast for vets. Another great guy. He's been around a while. He's been doing this for a while. He has excellent episodes. You can go back, focus on mental health and other topics. So it's great for him to be on board with us, and he's a great guy. And he did a lot of work with sort of exposing the government and Veterans Affairs offering MAID to veterans through VAC. So he's sort of the tip of the spear for that. So all right, just a question. Yeah, so it's just a couple questions here. So it's going to be hosted by V4F. So it's going to be on our YouTube, our Rumble, our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram. So all the independent shows will be streaming to the different to our platforms. So you can watch it on Vets for Freedom, our YouTube, our Rumble, which we really want to build up, because based on what's happening in the world, we expect our YouTube channel to eventually be banned. So it's just it's sort of like a sub unit of our organization, and it's going to be for creating exposure for all the different brands and have good, solid looks a bunch of solid dudes on there and exposing their content. So, here's a good one. Here's a Bolsa veteran. This guy, Leaf Dude. Hey, look, it's a shitload of Canadian traders. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what that term means, right? So, open invitation for any of you guys who just want to run your mouths on there. Email me. We'll set it up and we'll have a online debate. But a lot of these guys are just anonymous losers. So, but it's pretty funny. Like, nothing these people say will have any impact on me or our organization or our people. In fact, a lot of it's just comedy. So thanks for showing up, Leaf Dude, wasting your time watching me speak. So let's go on to the next one. So the next guy we have on board here is Dave Morrow. Dave Morrow, great guy, great podcaster, and he really focuses on health and wellness. And he has been doing a bunch of work with Catherine Christensen and interviewing veterans who were kicked out of the Canadian Armed Forces over the vax mandate. So Dave's going to be on board. Again, just a great guy, great veteran, awake, and it'll be good to have him. And then we have one of our guys who just started this. He just started this channel a little while ago. and he's going to be it's Alex. He's going to be doing a French version of survival and bushcraft and that sort of thing. So he is just getting started, but he has a ton of content he wants to share, and that falls under one of our lines of effort, which is sustainability and health and wellness. Okay, so we got him coming on board. And then, yeah, we'll just go back here. So that's who we have so far, who already have everything established. Some of the other people we have. So we got, like I said, Jeff Evely's going to be doing his Radical Candor brief. We got our brother Alex Cabana, who's going to be doing the People's Cabana. So he's already done one episode with me back in Christmas, or just before Christmas, and then he's going to be doing a regular show as well. So Ask Good Dude. We got Marty and Aaron, who are going to be doing planting seeds. So they're going to be talking about hunting. They're going to be talking about mental health and that sort of thing. We also have Jill Younghusband, who's one of the members of the board of directors. And she will be talking about, I believe, mental health and some other things. So she'll probably start sometime in February. And then we got another show coming called Interrogative, which is by one of our members named Tim. So that should be launching hopefully soon. And we're really hoping to get our unit padre there, Harold Ristow, to do a weekly or a monthly show from the spiritual perspective. So we're just engaging with him. Now, all these shows that we're talking about are all going to be released in a staggered format. Okay, so it's not all releasing on one day. They'll have different time slots throughout the week. Some might be very frequent, some might be not so frequent. So we are going to have a great lineup, and we have some other guys, some bigger names who might be coming on board as well. So we're just in discussions with them. So we think it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be good, get positive messaging out there, and we're looking forward to it. So that's the rundown on V4F TV. And just like, again, this is so funny. So Shiloh Berry asks, is Jeff still doing his daily show? Yeah, he'll be doing his Monday to Friday from 10 till 12, or 4 or 5 days a week, or whenever he can. So that's the rundown of Dave. So we're going to talk quickly about what our our lines of effort here are at V4F. So our lines of effort consist of three things. Okay, so health and wellness, right? So we got to get people healthy. We got to get people well. The community, so building community. Okay, so some of our strategic guidance there is localism will defeat globalism. All right, so building local communities of like-minded people and people who are awake, and not just bootlickers and feckless losers like Leaf Dude here. It was great. He was making me laugh. Thanks, buddy, for tuning in. And sort of promoting local leaders and then working collectively together within those communities towards common goals. So that's going to be our second line of effort. And then our third line of effort is going to be sustainability. So with sustainability, it's about supporting local farmers, supporting local business, and that sort of thing. As you can see, it's pretty volatile on the world stage, and what that's going to do, that's going to affect supply chains. So you can see what's happening with the Houthi rebels in the Red Sea right now. They're attacking ships. They're attacking people who are trying to go through the Bab el-Mandeb Straits. And so basically what's happening is some of the big shipping companies are now having to reroute through the south of Africa. So it's going to be, you're going to see an increase again on your goods and your food. So if we can support local farmers and sustainable within our communities, then those issues are going to have less of an impact on our everyday lives. So that's what our three main lines of effort are. Farmers markets, local stores that sell local goods and that sort of thing. So it's those are the three things we're going to focus on, and then we'll go from there. So next, I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I'm undertaking myself. Actually, before we do that, we're going to talk about the V4F Support Fund. Okay, so our support fund, the goal is to get 10,000 Canadians to give $5 a month. And then it's a form of monetary populism that where you the donors receive ballots and they get to decide where the money goes for that month. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up on the screen quickly. And you'll just see where it is on here. Sorry. I'll get quicker with this as time goes on. Okay, so here's our support fund. I still have to update the page with the previous recipients, but basically who we have for the month of January. Now, there's a little bit of change for January, is we're actually going to be sending out the ballots on the 15th of the month, because we have a whole bunch of emails I got to collect, and then I was trying to get it over to our web developer in time, and it was just, he was waiting around. It was just it wasn't really efficient use of time. So we're going to get the ballots out on the 15th of every month, and they're fully encrypted. They you can't see who's who or who the donors are or anything like that. But these are going to be the first Sunday of every month. I'll talk about sort of the support fund and who the people are. Okay, so the first one is for this month is going to be Helen Gruce. So Helen Gruce is Ottawa police detective who's being attacked by the Ottawa Police Services, and she is mounting a defense. And if you go to the webpage, you can see sort of the details there, and you can go to her Give Send Go, which we started. And it was we're over at over $50,000 that's been raised to help pay for her legal fees. So, but she's still her legal fees are over $100,000 now. So we still got to try and support Helen. The second person is Kimberly. So when everything sort of came out, she was a stay-at-home mom who was organizing protests, and she got fined by the government over $37,000. So Kimberly, she's been on there for a couple months. She's, we'll keep her on maybe for this month and maybe a month further, and then we'll have to move on. But Kimberly is just helping pay for her fines. And then the third person that is Lisa Robinson. So Lisa Robinson is a counselor who was pushing back against the woke nonsense. And basically what happened is they docked her like 3 months of her pay. She's a single mom, but she still has to work. So we have the option there. We've already raised some money for her and sent it her way just to help with her bills for that month. But this option to help alleviate some of Lisa Robinson for her lost wages. So, and then when you vote, you have an option to allocate 10% to 10% to. Sorry, you have 10% to go to a veteran organization. So one of our good friends there, Sergeant Pat Gordon, runs an organization called Operation Feed out in St. John, New Brunswick, and they give money to raise. They get money to buy food to give to hungry children in St. John. So they're a great group of guys over there. So really support what they're doing. So that's the update on the support fund. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. All right, so back to where I was saying before is, look, I've been doing this for, coming up to close to 2 years now, sort of pushing back and fighting against this nonsense and trying to educate and empower people. And so I've been talking the talk, but I haven't been walking the walk. And so when it comes to health and wellness, I've been extremely unhealthy since I released from the Canadian Armed Forces. And so I got, probably around Christmas time, I got to the heaviest weight that I ever was. And then I talked to a veteran friend of mine who, I think it was about 5 or 6 months ago, he started something called the carnivore diet. And he basically said, look, in 5 months, I've lost 40 pounds. I've lost 5 inches off my waist. And he goes, he feels like he's in his 20s again. He's like shredded and his mental health is good and everything. So he sent me a good rundown on Telegram of, it's about 40 minutes worth of videos to watch to see if the carnivore diet is right for you. And then he sent me some other details, and I just said, okay, look, this is pretty straightforward. I'll give it a go. So I started about 7 or 8 days ago, and I'm already down 10 pounds. You can see the numbers up there. Sorry, my hand's not working. There. So those numbers are up on my whiteboard, and that's me tracking my weight. So I'm down already down over 10 pounds. Feel great, hardly eating anything. I had some sort of sugar withdrawal headaches at the beginning, but those are gone, getting some electrolytes in. But anyways, just something I'm doing. So every week I'll give an update on my weight. I'm actually going to get a chart there, and you can see how this diet and this sort of lifestyle is changing me. So yeah, that's where I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and get in, and I'm doing it. I have a great time eating lots of bacon and sausage and ground beef and eggs and that sort of thing. And it's been a fairly easy transition for me. So one of the organizations who we support and is supporting me on this is an organization called, it's a local farmer called Wild Meadows Farm. So I'm going to just bring them up here quickly, and you can see who they are. And so anyways, you can see down the ticker, they actually have given us a discount code. So that discount code is good meat. So you can go to their website here. They've got everything. They deliver, I believe, almost anywhere in Ontario, and you can do every. I think you can order every 2 weeks. I believe it's either every month or every 2 weeks. You create an account, you put the code in there. They'll give you, if you order over $150, they'll give you, I think, $10 back. And when I was talking with them, they said, we'll give you, like me, $10 that I can, take as sort of promoting them. But I don't need the $10. So they're redirecting that $10 per new customer who uses this code to a local food bank to help families in their local community who are struggling to buy their groceries. So it's a very easy website. Sign up, place the order. You got everything on the left here. They have beef tallow. They have, you name it, they have a wide variety of products. I buy in bulk. So it's been, it's a little bit more expensive when you order online, get it shipped to you, but you don't necessarily have to go through them. You can go through a local butcher or anything like that. So their website is wildmeadowsfarm.ca. and you can check them out, and then you can use that code in the ticker, and you can place out if you want to do this. Now, I'm not giving you medical advice whatsoever. You have to check with people or your doctors, whoever, when you're doing that. I'm just going to run down what I've done and who I'm purchasing from for my carnivore diet. So I know a bunch of people are asking me about this sort of before I started the stream, so just give a quick rundown. Is like, I've only been doing it for 7 or 8 days, and definitely not an expert in that. But if you email me at my V4F email, I'll respond and I'll send you the rundown that was given to me with the videos, right? So I'll send it your way. But what I'm doing is I'm eating in the morning, I'm eating 3 eggs, 2 sausages, 5 pieces of bacon, having coffee, tea, that sort of thing. And then I'm eating some of the nose to tail ground beef from Wild Meadows Farms with some more sausage and that sort of thing at night. But you can eat sort of any fatty meat, okay? So you can still eat chicken and that sort of thing, but they want you to concentrate on fatty meat. So, one of the videos I'll share next week is with some of the food that I'm making, but you can have shrimp, you can have, chicken wings, you can have steaks, whatever you want. And you can eat as much as you want in this thing. But you really, what I'm finding is I'm hardly eating at all. And I'm hardly going to the washroom at all. I've never, not to get too graphic, but bowel movements have changed completely. I might be going to the washroom like once every 2 days now. Because what it is, the meat and everything is so good and so nutritious that your body's absorbing, is absorbing most of it. I'm telling you, I'm feeling great. The pounds are just flying off, and we will just keep going. And whoever becomes a regular watcher of the show, you'll sort of help me with, or you'll see the progress I'm making on this journey. And I don't have any people, I'm not embarrassed at all. I don't care. Like, not afraid, not embarrassed, nothing, right? So I'll just share that with you. People can, trash talk me or whatever they want in the chat, but in 6 months, I bet we're going to see a fairly big difference in what I'm doing. So anyways, just that's the rundown on the carnivore diet, and I'll spend maybe 5-10 minutes a week just updating people on my progress and how everything's working out. All right, so next I want to talk about the book of the week. All right, so if we go over to, here we're going to go over to our Veterans for Freedom store, and we are going to, this takes a little while here to do this. All right, so what we have here, so on our store, we are starting to, we started with Fistman's Fraud, or actually we started with Tom Quiggins' Eyewitness to Deceit, and that book sold out pretty quickly, and then we went to Fistman's Fraud. So Regina is a friend of the couple who runs our store, and she was having some trouble with Amazon, so we started selling her book, and I think we might have sold over 100 copies already. And when you buy it from us, we get a very small cut, but the actual author gets a bigger cut in the when they sell it through us. So we got Tom Marazzo's book up there. We have the two books from the Canadian Frontline Nurses, but the one I'm going to focus on here is Tom Quiggin and Rick Gill. So those two veteran guys. So Tom Quiggin's the one who wrote this book. If you haven't read it already, it got to Amazon. I think it was a top 30 bestseller. It's called Eyewitness Deceit. Talk about the trucker convoy and all the lies. So highly recommend reading that book if you can. But this is Tom and Rick's new book, which I have here, which I'm getting through, is Patty Hacks. So it's basically, it's a small book. It is a guide to how you can combat the recession that's coming and potentially the collapse of our system. So it's got all sorts of good points in there and tips and everything you can use. It's a little bit more expensive on our site than Amazon, and it strictly has to do with shipping. Like, we just get hammered on shipping, unfortunately. But this is a good book, and it's available on our website there. If you buy a bunch of stuff on the website, actually, I think they've already built in free shipping to most items, but you can get this book. So it's called Patty Hacks, and I'm already making my way through it, and it's definitely a good book. So it's, like I said, it's available on our store. I highly recommend you check it out, and if you can afford it, please purchase it. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is the movie of the week. So I just watched this movie again last night, and it was one of my favorite movies. It came out in 2006, and it's basically a lot of these older TV shows and movies are foreshadowing what is happening into our society today. So, this is not, don't wait. Like, if you don't have the time, it's not a big deal if you don't watch the movie or whatever, but this is a really good movie. It's called Children of Men. So it was with Clive Owen, came out in 2006. And it basically, it's very interesting because it talks about immigration, like mass immigration to the United Kingdom. And it also talks about a flu that took place, I think, in around 2008, that wiped out a bunch of young children. And for some reason, all the women of the planet are unable to reproduce. So they can't have babies. Doesn't say why, and they don't know why, but the population of the world is shrinking rapidly. So it's very well done. And there's some good points and things to learn, some foreshadowing that took place in this movie. So if you can take a watch of this movie, and it's not gonna help you solve anything, but it's like I said, look at The Matrix, look at The Constant Gardener, look at some of these other movies where it was sort of foreshadowing what's happening now. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you. That's the sort of movie of the week. Now there's a couple other things I'm going to highlight every week, and the show might evolve, right, depending what sort of engagement we get, or if people want to see me talk about certain things, or they want to send me questions. I know some people want to send me questions, and try. I can do my best to answer them. I can do that if you send me an email, and I can bring your question up. Or if you have hate mail, send hate mail my way. I love getting a good laugh out of people's hate mail. But we're going to highlight 2 Twitter users or X users this week. So the first one is a veteran guy who I don't know. I've talked to him a little bit, but he's pretty good. He's got and when I say this stuff, I don't agree with everything that these guys say. Well, it's mainly because I don't know everything that they're saying, but I've seen a couple of their posts. We've shared a bunch of this stuff. So this guy, Stephen Jeffrey. So it's at Jeffries Stephen. And so proud father, veteran, Bachelor of Engineering in whatever MSc is. Sorry, I'm not that smart, but anyways, he's got some really good posts, some good takes. He's got a lot of followers there. He talks about the current state of the CAF. So if you are on X, give this guy a follow. He posts some good stuff, and I really a lot of what he says sort of resonates with me. And then I'm going to just talk about this a regular Twitter user, so not a veteran, but this guy has a massive following. His name's Ryan Gerritsen. He knocks it out of the park with a lot of his posts. Okay, and he's really good, sort of exposing people and exposing sort of the agenda that they're putting out. He already has a big following, 63.2 thousand followers. I don't know this guy. I've never met him, but he does have some really good takes. And he gets a lot of engagement. So give Ryan a follow if you are on X, and take a look at some of the takes that he has. So Ryan's he's got some great posts out there, and he is Canadian from what I understand. Yeah. All right. So a couple other things. So we're going to sort of this show will be a little bit more structured next week when I do it. We'll sort of highlight some more things and break it down. This is sort of like the intro show. But at the end of every show, I'm going to give you 3 points. Okay. So, and I'm going to discuss those points and why you should take them to heart. So you've probably already read them down on the ticker there, but 3 points for me is, first point being, don't be a victim. Okay. So many people play the victim card. You can see it on the left and the woke tards and those people, everything. They chuck shit and then they turn around and when you respond, or you retort, they turn around and play the victim card. And that's what they do to try and get sympathy. Don't play the victim card, right? Because you're just liberal light if you do that. And we've seen people on the right do it on Twitter and social media, and they make a statement, they get attacked. Instead of just owning it or admitting that they're wrong or saying, "Look, this is my opinion. If you don't like it, fuck you," they play this victim card and they get all this sympathy. Oh, like, poor me, poor me. Don't play the victim card. Okay. That's like the number one thing I'm starting to see with people on X and that sort of thing. Even if you are a victim, don't play that card. You just got to rise above that. We can't have a country full of victims. We already have so many people walking around looking to get offended. We need to get away from that. Okay. So don't play the victim card. That's my first point. Second point is, don't be afraid. All right. You saw in the intro video I did there, shout out to my boy, Ollie, one of our V4F members who did up that video. It's a lot better than the one I wanted him to do. Even though I, despise hearing myself speak because my bland monotone voice. But anyways, he put that in there and it looked good, and everyone else said it was good. So we went with that. But don't be afraid. That is what they're using. They use fear to control you. And there's a really good video by JP Sears where he talks about fear. He's that sort of Republican comedian down in the United States. Don't be afraid of these people. That's all they have is fear. So fear can be easily applied, but it can be easily broken, okay? And I understand people are in tough positions. They can't speak up because they're going to lose their job or their family or friends or that sort of thing. But we need more people to not be afraid to step up and push back against the woke nonsense, because if we don't, like the few people who are stepping up and speaking out, we get canceled, but they can't cancel all of us. If we had millions of people stepping up and saying, look, we're not afraid of you, we're not going to condone your woke nonsense, then you're going to get less people, then we're a stronger collective pushing back against us, because we all know it's clown world, right? We're wasting our time arguing about men in sports or men and women sports and that sort of thing. But it's those other people who have just been brainwashed. They're just playing this victim card to scare you into you pushing back against this. So we need people step up, push back. Don't be afraid of these people. A lot of them, like that guy who was trash talking me earlier, some anonymous dude who's probably one of the woke bullshit veterans who attacks us, he's on there running his mouth, and he's just some anonymous guy who doesn't have the balls to step up and speak to me and have a conversation. So anyways, the third thing is don't engage with the woke. Okay, so they have been, hopefully a lot of people here have watched Ideological Subversion from Yuri Bezmenov, but those people are completely brainwashed. Okay, completely brainwashed. They, like Yuri said, he goes, they won't wake up until they receive the Soviet boot in their fat bottoms. That's the only time they're going to wake up. So you engaging with them in real life or at a protest or online on social media or whatever, you're not going to be able to wake them up. Okay, we only have a finite amount of time on this earth. We have a finite amount of resources to use, finite amount of things we could talk about. Like nothing you say is going to wake these people up. So don't even engage with them. So we mock them a little bit on social media. Like our social media following isn't big. We have, I don't even know, 10,000 people on Twitter, but we don't really post too much on there, just some memes, and we do a lot of reposting. But we need to get out and engage with the silent majority and the awake people in our community. So when you engage with the people, the communist, cultural Marxist, woke idiots who are just I actually feel bad for them. They're completely brainwashed. You accomplish nothing. Okay, so allocate your time to projects or initiatives or whatever where you're going to actually have the desired outcome. And speaking with those woke people, other than to get a laugh, is not going to do it. So don't engage with the woke, because they're already gone. Okay, they're operating in this blue pill world, and it's just a waste of time. So just want to throw that out there. So those are my 3 points. I'll give you 3 points at the end of every show, and hopefully it'll have some impact, and you can take those with you. So we're already at like 45 minutes, so just sort of coming up to the end of the show. So just a couple of things I'll end off with, and then I'll just look through the comments quickly, see if there's any questions, or if you have any questions for me, just post them right now. I'll try and get to them before I end the show. But for next week, we're going to talk about the quiet professional ethos, which is what V4F has adopted in how we conduct ourselves. But that actually backfired, right? Because a bunch of people, they're online running their mouths, and I'll highlight some of them next week. Or, oh, V4F's never done anything, and these guys are just a scam and whatever. Well, we'll be going through our brag sheet next week. Okay, we've raised over $150,000 for people in need. We've helped a lot of people. We've networked. We've got people medical help, and we have that's all going to be consolidated in a brag sheet that we're going to be posting on our social media and you through. And then if people still want to attack us, then we can get on the show and we can do a comparison. We can do a dick measuring contest with people running their mouths and see what they've done compared to what we've done. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. We're also going to be talking about something called the circles principle. So I've talked about this on some of the shows and everything that I've done before. but I'm actually going to use the whiteboard here and talk about the circles principle and why it's important. That's from my guy, Andy Stump. And I'm also going to talk about the FOB farms concept, which is basically just the military term we're using for sort of community or cooperative farms. So that's what we're going to be doing next week. And yeah, so we're going to continue on. I'll be doing this show every single Sunday at 1300, and then we'll go from there. So that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, between 30 on there's Circulon. Hey, brother. Follow DPR Circulon on Twitter. He's a good guy. But that's what we're going to be discussing next week. And like I said, I want to keep the show between 30 minutes to an hour, and I'll get better as soon as sort of things come together. So I didn't see any questions there, but if you do have questions that you'd like me to address, send it to my email on the ticker, and we'll go from there. So anyways, look forward to hearing from you all, and appreciate you all taking the time to tune in, and we will see you next Sunday. Thanks very much.
We will work hard to set a positive example for the future generations of Canadians. We will not lower ourselves to their level. What happened here in February, the veterans here felt the jackboots of the police.
They influence through fear. That is what they do.
It's you tomorrow. It's me the next day.
They're going to smear us. They have already started. What the federal government doesn't know, they poke the bear.
Yeah.